Hey everyone, welcome to the Roundtable with Vienna Whyte, Season 1, Episode 47. I'm your host, Millie Rouge from the band Vienna Whyte here in Edmonton, Canada. This Roundtable is a Yike music production. Thank you all for tuning into the show today, this afternoon. I would like to introduce you to our very first guests we have on today. We have Sal from Los Angeles. We have Matilda Lindell based in New York City. And we have Rebecca Lappa, based in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. So welcome to the show, ladies. Thank you for being on today. We're so excited to have you. My very first question for you is, how has your Monday been going so far? It's a very simple question.
Well, my Monday has been great. I'm in Stockholm right now, and it's been like the first summer day here. So
oh really? You guys haven't had any sun yet?
Yeah. So I sort of took a break from working and just let myself be with friends in the sun.
Mm-hmm. I love that. I love that. And you're in sorry, I'm saying You're in you're in Colorado right now, correct?
Yeah, there's been a lot of rioting and stuff in Denver. And I've been feeling really emotional about that cause, and I've been getting involved, been more vocal, and I spent kind of the last 4 days being really, really sad and upset. But now I feel kind of hopeful. I feel kind of hopeful that something's going to change. And today and yesterday are like the first 2 days that I've kind of woke up feeling like hopeful,
a bit more positive. Yeah.
More positive.
Yeah. It's really hard. I think, like, even being in Canada where we are, it's like, we're technically not that closely affiliated or like close by. Well, I mean, we are close actually, but it's so weird because it just feels like there's so much going on, and it's just, you don't know what to do, right? You feel, like you said, like very hopeless and sad, but I think that, I think everyone will hopefully come to that turning point of being like, it's going to be okay. We're all going to get through this. Just like we did with the pandemic. We figured our way out, and hopefully we'll do the same with this too. But yeah. How about yourself, Rebecca? You've got such a nice backdrop. I love it. It looks so like forestry and summery. I love it.
This is my mom's sunroom.
Oh, cute.
Nice and warm in here. I did have a cat with me, but it decided to leave. So yeah. Monday. I guess today is my 1 year anniversary with my boyfriend. So
oh, very nice.
So we have some exciting plans for later today.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're gonna make Italian food.
Oh, yum.
It'll be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Are you guys like making something from scratch kind of thing, or?
Well, I think we're gonna buy the noodles from the Italian market near his house, but otherwise we're making it ourselves. Yeah.
That's awesome. That sounds like a good day. I'm glad you're here even still. Awesome. Well, I want to quickly chat about your ladies' musical journey and kind of how you got to where you are today, so our audience can know more about you. So Mare, can you kind of tell us a little bit about your experience, kind of the music you do, and who you kind of work with in the music industry?
All right. Well, it starts about, I guess, almost 10 years ago. I started a band called The Symbols. We were based in Colorado. And then, over the years, we started to tour to like all the surrounding states. We had like a line from about like Kansas City down to Memphis, and then everything west of that.
Oh, nice.
And then, bands always break up. I was married to my guitar player. We got a divorce. And then I met some LA musicians. I got invited to collaborate on a thing with Jeff Lorber, who's a keyboard player.
Nice.
And it was right after he won the Grammy there was an instrumental album he put out, and Jimmy Haslip came to Denver, and we went in the studio and I sang one song, and then he was like, hey, I have more work for you. And so I got invited to sing on a Parkinson's project, and I met my now boyfriend, Scott Kinsey, who's a phenomenal talent. He's actually in the house here.
Hiding.
And I've been living back and forth. We've been going back and forth to Colorado and LA because I have a daughter here named Vivian, who's also an aspiring musician, just very young.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so he's been really supportive, and we've been going back and forth and making a record right now. It's going to come out in a few months, I guess, or a year. Just depends like on everything and how the world turns. I don't know.
Right. That's awesome. Well, thank you for sharing. It's nice to kind of hear your background with music. Now, Matilda, I kind of was scrolling through your Instagram. You've got quite a cool journey from what you've done with your music so far. Can you tell us kind of more about how you got to music and what you do now with your music?
Yeah, sure. So, well, I have, always been singing, and I guess like the career or whatever started like in music college, when it's like naturally just like I started playing more, performing more, got more work, and it led to the next job and the next job. It's and then I guess I have always been, I guess in around my 20s I started writing songs like for real more. I did it very early on, but I even remember actually like the first songs I wrote, but then I sort of took a break from it, and I started doing it more in music college actually. So I was a late songwriter, get it going. But then I did a bunch of stuff with, like, I was singing in an a cappella group, and I had my own band with my original music, and I did, I did a lot of backing vocals for other artists, and then I started singing in this ABBA tribute band, and that's sort of where after a few years, that's where my focus ended up, because the band we started touring that was I lived in Sweden then. So we started touring the States, and because Americans love ABBA. Who doesn't? But
true.
Americans really do love ABBA. So we started touring and started like building, our presence there. So, and I've been like really, it's been my little baby for like 10 years, and building this band and building the connection with the audience and all of that. So it's been really a lot of ABBA, and it's like full on tribute with costumes and wigs and plateau.
That's amazing.
Wow.
And, so it's fun. It's like you go into your role. And now I'm actually these songs have like become a part of me almost. It's like I live and breathe ABBA. So I wanted to do something personal. So what I'm doing now is actually I've rearranged a few of the songs that have just become extra special to me throughout the years, and I've rearranged them totally. I mean, you can't do a better pop version than ABBA did. So I sort of try to like strip it down, focus more like on like the voice and the raw, naked simplicity, and put a lot of strings on it to do something different, and reharmonized, and did some stuff.
Sure.
Reharming.
Yeah. So now it's like, I have one single out, and Dancing Queen, my next single, is coming out in a month or so.
That's
so
awesome.
That's what I'm doing now. So I'm still doing ABBA, but I'm doing like my personal touch.
Personal twist. Yeah, that's amazing. Now I noticed on your Instagram, are you also a vocal coach as well? Do you work with a lot of people trained with voice?
Yeah, I am.
Okay,
so,
very nice.
Yeah, I coach beginners to artists. So
okay, very nice.
And I actually teach a lot of, in Sweden, I train or coach a lot of voice coaches. So like I educate them, and and I'm a total voice nerd. So I love the voice, but that's what I do here. More in America, it's like more other
performances.
Performers.
Yeah, absolutely. That's amazing.
I love it.
It's a great life to have, for sure. Now, Rebecca, I want to chat about your musical journey. I know I've known you for actually a few years, but Rebecca and I live in the exact same city, but she came on graciously today. So I kind of want to chat because I know you have a big, extensive career. So let's kind of chat about how your musical journey's evolved so far.
Sure. I guess guess, yeah, I've been writing music since I was like 9 or so. I really enjoyed like telling stories and stuff like that. And so I'd been taking lots of lessons and all that normal stuff that kids do. And then like my love of stories and my love of singing just kind of came together, so to speak. Oh, there's a dog. Hello.
We've got a special
I'm
guest.
distracted by the dog. Where was I? Yeah, and I guess at this point, I guess I've been doing this for around 10 years now. I've done some touring across Canada. Played from, I guess, an island in BC to all the way to Montreal and back.
Beautiful.
A number of times with my band. And obviously right now we're not really doing anything tour-wise because COVID.
Right.
But, yeah, I guess I've been doing that. I've written some music for different organizations like the No Stone Left Alone Foundation, which puts poppies, helps children put poppies on soldiers' graves around Remembrance Day. I went to music college. I went to McEwen, just like Michelle. Yeah. Or I guess Millie, sorry. Just like Millie. And that's where I met all my bandmates, Maddie and Peter. And yeah, I guess I've released a bunch of records. I've written for a bunch of different people or with a bunch of different people. Including Sam Lynch, who's an up-and-coming artist in BC right now. Yeah, I guess at the moment I just got into music therapy in Vancouver, so I guess I'm doing that for the next 2 years, as well as working on like my next record project in Vancouver. So yeah, I guess that's kind of.
Yeah, very exciting.
Yeah.
Lots to do, so that'll be great. Congrats on the music therapy. It'll be so much fun. And that's is that near Capilano that you're doing okay.
Capilano University. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. I think you'll do great. So I kind of want to now dive into our topic of the day, which I think all of you kind of touched on already in your intros, but I have some very specific questions I kind of wanted to go over. So our topic of the day is just having a career in music. Now, when I was looking at all of your social medias and your Instagrams, I noticed you all do very, very well in having an actual kind of job in music, which is kind of unique. As I know a lot of you kind of, I'm sure, are familiar with. It's very tough to have an actual job or kind of career in music. Even for myself, I basically feel like I have like 3 jobs at all times running, but all are related to music, which is amazing. It's a grateful thing to have for sure. So my first kind of question I pose to all of you is, why did you choose to have a career in music? So Mare, I kind of want to start your direction. Why did you choose to have a career in music? What kind of inspired you?
I just knew from the time I was like 3, and like when I was like 12 or so, I was like, Mom, I want to be a pop star. And she's like, that's impossible, but there's a Broadway school in town. So I went to like the children's Broadway school and like got voice lessons and like learned to tap dance and like hip hop and Broadway and stuff. And like, it was really the music that I wanted. And so all the other stuff was a benefit, you know, that I felt like it kind of shaped me to be like really smiley and stuff.
That's awesome. I think, yeah, musical theater has such a huge impact for a lot of musicians. Not everyone does musical theater when they're growing up or doing music, but I think it's so powerful with other music too. And I know like a lot of my vocal lessons, maybe Matilda might relate to this. I did a lot of vocal training with like musical theater and classical. So
that's really cool. That's really hip.
Yeah, it's cool to see how it translates in itself, right?
But then I think where it evolves is like when you experience real pain in your life. Like when you have painful life experiences, and then that's when you become a writer, you know.
Absolutely. Your own kind of identity, if you will, right? Totally.
Yeah, I think maybe that's one of our common threads among all of us.
Yeah, absolutely. Matilda, and I know you've got all this experience with music. What kind of made you choose to dive into that career of music? What kind of inspired you?
I mean, I don't want to repeat Mare, but it's like I've never thought of anything else to do. Because actually, when I was even though in Sweden we don't have so much, we don't have like a Broadway here, right? So we have musical theater, but it's not as like expanded or extended. Like it's not, yeah. But I did love that when I was a kid. So when I was little, I wanted to be in musical theater because I wanted to act and dance and sing. But then it's just changed, like, no, I want to be a solo singer. So it's always been music something. So no, even though my mom was like, you're so good at chemistry and physics. And I was like, no, I haven't. But thank you.
No, thank you. I love that. Now, Rebecca, what kind of made you, I know you do some teaching as well, like some voice teaching and everything. What kind of made you get into the career of music for yourself?
I guess, yeah, like, I don't really want to repeat everybody, but like, I don't know, I guess I didn't really choose it, it chose me, and, I guess, I don't know, I just feel like maybe everybody has, like, a calling or whatever, and this apparently seems to be mine, and, I mean, like, I really enjoy helping people through music, that's another reason why I'm doing this music therapy thing now. I find that music is really like powerful, and it's like a universal language. I'm assuming all of you guys have like that, right? And it, I guess, like enables you to break down walls and break down barriers that might be in the way of talking to other people or getting a message that you feel everybody should know across, sort of like this whole thing with the George Floyd situation going on. I feel like, music would be a great way for people to maybe express some of that anger and outrage. Obviously, the protests and stuff are important, but like, I feel like if we could all just get together and be a big circle of like
one big happy family,
music stuff, I feel like that would help a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's, a lot of musicians that are hippies and people kind of make fun of that aspect, but I think there's something really pure about it because they're so wholesome and they're so positive for the future, right? And they really write about what they hope to see in the world. So I think it's super cool. So I'm kind of curious to know, what has been the most rewarding parts of having a career in music? What have been kind of your highlight reels, if you will, of having this career in music? Mare, what kind of do you think are some accomplishments or some moments that you really remember when you think about your music career so far?
Well, I was really excited to go to Memphis to perform at the International Blues Challenge.
Wow.
And like that was a big cool thing. And my local magazine in my hometown, it took me like a long time before my hometown would start to accept me, I guess. Still been a journey, but eventually they included us on the front cover of their little magazine. And that was so cool. Like I guess all my mom's friends were like, I want a copy. Like, you know what feels exciting always seems to get to be like a higher thing, like, I don't mean higher, but like it just seems like things get bigger and bigger, like what you want,
like stepping stones. Yeah,
and I think right where I am right now is like, it's the coolest, biggest, best thing I've ever done. I'm making a jazz fusion meets pop. I don't even want to call it that. I feel like I'm just making really good music with somebody I love, So, Scott Kinsey, if you check him out, he played in a band called Tribal Tech, and maybe I can bring him on screen. You can meet him.
Yeah, that'd be fun. So Matilda, what's been kind of your most inspiring or most memorable moments you've had from your music career so far?
Well, I think both, even though singing ABBA music has absolutely taken me to stages I would not perform on. Like I performed the Hollywood Bowl in Los Angeles 3 times.
Wow.
It's like that would never have happened. And that was like crazy. The third time I felt like, I know this now. I don't need to be like nervous.
I don't need to be scared.
Like, I know this stage now. It's like my stage.
Yeah.
But even though that's like amazing, and throughout my career, like the audience has always been like the greatest motivation and inspiration. It's like what you get back. But it also comes with, I actually so much remember when I like performed in like some small stage in New York for the first, like my first show I got in New York, where it came like, you know, what was it, like 15 people there, but it was super special to me, and it was my songs, and you know, I talked to them afterwards, and you know, that's, I have all of those just special moments, and it all has to do with connecting with the listeners, fans, whatever level they were on then, I think. So like the fan connections I have, yeah, it's, I must say that.
Yeah, makes
I
the
have to
most
add that to
most
mine.
memorable.
All
For
of the
sure.
above. Minus the Hollywood Bowl.
So Rebecca, what's been kind of your most rewarding moments or memories you have with music so far in your career?
So many of them. Yeah. I guess if I had to name like a couple, I feel like one of them would have been, I guess, when I wrote this song for the No Stone Left Alone Foundation. Basically, so like the first year at their memorial ceremony, I just sang it by myself. But last year, I was supposed to do it with a choir of children, and so I got to teach this group of kids at a elementary school. I can't remember the name of the elementary school. The song, and they were all like really inspired by it, and I feel like it helped them learn more about I guess the sacrifices that different people have made in the past for our country and other people's countries and that type of stuff. And that was really special to me. Not only because like my grandfather was in World War II, but also my boyfriend's in the army. So and he's gonna be transferring into the Reg Force September, I think. So that's gonna be interesting. And I guess if I feel like, you know, important messages really impact everybody. And it's important to get those out there. Also, I guess another exciting one would have been like, I think like winning a Canadian Folk Music Award. That was pretty cool. That was like a yes. Apparently, my music is worthwhile to somebody other than me and my parents.
Yeah, I mean my mom.
Yeah, so I think those would probably be like two really great ones for me.
Absolutely, I think that's super great. So I want to kind of know, what have you learned the most from having a job or a career in music? What have been the most kind of teachable moments, if you will, you know, in your music career that you've had? Rebecca, do you want to start this one off and we'll go the other way around?
Sure. I guess I could talk about like a good moment and a bad moment. That sounds okay. I'll start with the bad one. I guess one thing that made me really like think about, you know, what like the highs and the lows in being an artist was I was playing this bar in I'm gonna say it wasn't Waterloo, Ontario, but it was somewhere with a really awful, smelly lake that was like the drinking water was horrible. Anyways, point is, I was playing this bar on my tour in Ontario a couple years ago, and they were supposed to be collecting cover charge at the door, but no one did. And then it was like there were like 50 people in there or more, and we got $20 for 3 hours of work, and that just, I guess, really makes you think about, why am I doing this again? Like, what makes you, you know, want to be sharing your soul with all these people when they're not going to value your work? And so that, you know, makes you really want to look inside yourself and be like, okay, like, why is this important to me? What can I learn from this situation? And then I guess a higher point would have been like, maybe, I guess I've learned that even if like you think that the song that you're singing is like an old song for you because you know you wrote it 2 years ago or whatever, it still can really connect with other people in their situations, because you don't know, they might be going through something that you went through a while back, but they're going through it right now. And I feel like, you know, those connections are really important, and that makes you go, yeah, this is why I do this, you know, because I want to connect with people and I want to share personal experiences.
Yeah, I really like that. Now, Matilda, I know with you playing ABBA songs and everything, Rebecca kind of mentioned a good point of it doesn't matter like what point of your life, you know, when you have this experience with music, because it could be someone else's big moment. So I know with ABBA's had a lasting effect and everything like that. What would you say were some teachable moments maybe when you were in that, like when you're in that group or kind of touring with your band?
Well, you learn so much on the road. How, I mean, both like how your band communicate, how to put aside things on stage and communicate through music. And, you know, yeah, make an experience for the audience, and like be professional in that way. Because sometimes you need to like, you know, whatever's going on. I mean, someone said what you said, Mary, I think, like band split up. Like, and it's like, it's possible for a band to not have any drama. It will be any drama, but just to like have like this friendly feeling on stage and communicate through the music. And then like, actually we have been practicing this, I guess, in my band a lot, like to do that. And I think we have become this like ABBA family over the years, but it has also had its challenges. And what I've learned actually a lot, it's, I mean, sometimes it's, as in many professions, it's challenging to be a woman sometimes in the music business. And in the beginning, in this band, for instance, I was, you know, maybe following those structures, those bad structures, and I wasn't aware myself. But as I've gone along and put a lot of work into this, like I started to feel yucky in my body that, you know, you need to be, you know, get the same respect. And it just taught me to, you know, believe in myself and support my female colleagues and like, speak up. And that is, and this is like not only through this band, it's just all through it all. But that has been an important thing, to not apologize and just smile and be grateful. To actually, we need to change this too. And believe in ourselves, like encourage each other. Absolutely. And that has been like the like music career lifelong lesson, I think.
That's a super important message. And I think we can all definitely relate to that, being females in the music industry. We've all had our moment or our frustration. So I definitely agree. Now, Mary. Sorry. No, go ahead.
No, it's like, I'm sure there have been definitely like, you know, those moments when you just like realize that, no, I need to do this is. So, and then one more moment, and then one more moment, and then you see something, and
absolutely. Totally. Now, Mare, what's kind of been your experience with this? What have you learned most, I guess, from being in this music career?
It's hard to really say one thing more than another, but I learned that, you know, one victory to yourself that might feel small, to another artist that's really struggling might seem a lot bigger to them, and they might be jealous of you, and you might be jealous of the next person, and they're the next and the next.
Yeah.
And I guess the thing to remember is like to just put yourself into this, and because you love it, you know. Rebecca mentioned like playing in a bar and like those situations, and I just did that forever. And eventually I got to like open for like Danielle Nicole, who's like this phenomenal Kansas City artist, and like sort of more things started to happen, but then like those things just happen once in a while, and then you're just back where it feels like there's nothing going on, but we're all doing better than we think. We're all rising, and it's just a matter of time before women are more heard and before there's more women artists on the national scene, so, and like, Matilda's we've all obviously kind of been there, but it's just, we're all just kind of, we're waiting for that next wave, to catch. And it's okay to kind of sit back and go, I'm valuable. I'm okay in this moment.
Yeah, I think the comparison game is really real for a lot of musicians, and it's really hard to, especially with the like super expansion of social media so quickly, it's so hard to not compare yourself to someone else, because you just see it. You see it every day. You see, if you're on Instagram enough or Facebook, you'll see it enough that it can start to hit you. So yeah, I think, Mary, that's a really good point, is you really have to just learn like, yeah, what I'm doing is good. What I'm doing is okay. I'm enough, right? Absolutely. I absolutely agree with that. Now, my next question kind of relates to what we were just talking about, but how do you deal with criticism from people who say that music is not a real job? Because I'm sure you've all heard that before. It's a very common phrase. So how do you deal with that? Because it's not an easy thing to get through. Rebecca, you seem like you've heard this phrase one too many times. So how do you kind of deal with that criticism of that comment?
I guess, I mean, like, I've been hearing that, like, all my life. Like, even, like, this dude that I went out with in high school was all like, oh, well, that's cool that you do music, but, like, that's not a real job. What are you planning on doing afterwards? And I'm like, oh, God. Anyway, I guess you can kind of, take that comment and, I guess maybe twist it in the way that it's like, well, okay, sure, you're saying this isn't a real job, but this, to be in their of work, and I guess you just gotta be like, this is real because I'm doing it, and I know other people that are doing it, and yeah, I think that's how you kind of ignore that type of stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely hard. It's not an easy thing to overcome. Matilda, have you ever had this kind of experience of people ever telling you that, I know because you're a touring act, so technically your job is being music, but have you ever had people tell you, oh, like, what do you actually do, or what's your real job?
I've heard this many times. It must be so fun to work with your hobby. It's like, yeah, well, it is my job, and it's not like what, it's like it goes so much into it. And even sometimes I've heard this also, or many times, performing somewhere, more random thing, not like up at the like not on those big stages, but on events or whatever it is, like, you're so talented, you should do this, like, you should get into this. Yeah, that's a good idea, actually.
That's what I'm doing.
I can follow that advice. Thank you for that's it. I can try that.
Yeah.
So, but I think it's just, I do feel fortunate to, this being a singer and an artist songwriter, it's like my identity. So I am grateful, but I think people who are doing things they don't like or something, get another job.
Yeah,
Then. So
absolutely.
it's definitely a job, but it's absolutely an identity too.
Mm-hmm.
It's both, but also, yeah.
Totally.
I
Yeah.
think we were great on picking our job.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yes.
Now, Mira, have you ever had this experience with someone telling you music isn't a real job or get a real job type of situation?
No, okay. My mom had this hairdresser for like 22 years, and I would go to her too. And like when I'd be in town, and she'd like do my hair, and she'd be like, "So, are you gonna go back to college and get a different degree? Like, are you gonna get a real job? Like." And finally, like during this pandemic, my mom fired her and just like went to a different hairdresser finally. And I feel with her, you know, it's just like, I just feel like these people are just jealous, you know, everybody wants to
Mm-hmm.
do what we do, and there's nothing stopping them. I just think you have to be brave if you want to do music, and you have to really want it, because
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of abuse in the music industry. And I know that everybody that joins has to experience, you know, discrimination in some form or fashion.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, I think if you pursue and you really love it, and it's not a hobby, it's like Matilda was saying, it's what you love and it's what you want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, my last question actually for today before we sign off here is, where do you see yourself in 10 years with your music career? I'm very curious to know where you see yourself. And it's hard to pinpoint where exactly you'll be. But Rebecca, why don't you start it off? Where do you think you'll be in 10 years from now with music?
I was like, oh great, you're starting with me. I don't know.
I haven't thought about it.
Yeah, I mean, I hope in 10 years, um, well, I mean, hopefully I'll get through music therapy school,
Mm-hmm.
so that'd be good. I guess I'd like to be doing some of that. I'd like to be, writing for more people, I think,
Mm.
and, you know, going different places and working with lots of different artists and other people in that way as a songwriter. And yeah, playing some shows would be good. Maybe doing some more touring stuff to more than 5 people. That'd be super great.
It's a great goal.
Yeah, exactly. More than
Mine
five
too.
people. I mean, yeah, I guess I just like to, in 10 years, I'd like to be happy,
Mm-hmm. Content.
content and just be like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm feeling like I'm in the right place for me and
Mm-hmm.
all that type of stuff where you're like, yeah, I'm finally settled,
Yeah.
in what I'm doing. I think that would be my goal for
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you're definitely on the way there. Like, you've done some incredible things so far, and I think you're literally almost there. Not that you have to get to that breaking point, but I think you're going to do great. Now, Matilda, where do you kind of see yourself in 10 years with your music career?
Well, so you always want what you don't have. So like
Mm-hmm.
I hear Rebecca saying, so I wrote this song for this special event, and I want to write more. And I feel like, ooh, what a fun and like important challenge to write a song for this specific, I want to do more stuff like that, but also like write more for myself also.
Yeah.
But I have definitely, I'm so happy with the career I've had. It's been amazing, but I
Mm-hmm.
do, and I want to, I mean, it's luckily ABBA, it's like you don't really get too old to perform ABBA like,
Mm-hmm.
so it's a good thing. You don't need to be like 20 years old. So it's like good if you get older. So I'm safe there if I want to do that. But
Mm-hmm.
I would want to like write more, tour with my own music with more than 5 people in the audience.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, definitely go into writing more, even for other people. I
Mm-hmm.
do, I want to like nurture the songwriting skills. Now it's for me, writing songs when I don't do it enough because
Mm-hmm.
I tour, I do other stuff I do,
Yeah,
and I
rehearsals.
want to have that space in my like every day. Like that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And that's fine that it's not now, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But in 10 years, I hope definitely like I'm there.
Yeah, absolutely.
In that space.
Absolutely. Now, Mare, what's kind of your 10-year goal for your music career?
I've been writing songs a long time, and I've captured a lot of my pain and my joy. And I continue to write songs. In 10 years, I just want to produce a lot of music, of my own music, and maybe other people. And I want to be involved in a meaningful body of work. I want to, as an artist, to have a meaningful catalog of work that's, that I'm proud of, that sounds amazing, that other people can be like inspired by. And as I want to feel inspired,
Absolutely. I think that's a great goal for sure. Well, thank you all for sharing kind of into your lives of where you see yourselves. That was our last. Yeah, exactly. Let's have the same conversation in 10 years and see where we're at.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. That was our last question for the day. We're unfortunately out of time, but we're so lucky to have had you all on the show today. If you guys are at home watching this roundtable with Vienna Whyte on YouTube, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell button. We post 2 shows Monday to Friday, so there's lots of content to start watching. If you want to hear this conversation on podcast form, search Vienna Whyte Podcast on Spotify, and there you will find us. Now, before we head out, could I get you all to once again say your stage name and where our audience can find you on social media? So Meredith, can you start?
Thank you so much for involving me in this. You're all wonderful, beautiful women, great hearts. I'm Marisol, or Meredith Salem Benny, whichever you want. If you want to find me on Instagram, it's at MER_SAL. Thank you.
Awesome. And Matilda?
Yes, thank you so much for having us. I'm looking forward to diving into all of your music.
Yeah.
So you can find me, well, everything is MatildaLindell.com, but on Instagram is at Matilda Lindell Official.
Awesome. And Rebecca?
I guess there are many places you can find me. The number one place would be my website, which is RebeccaLappa.com. Lappa is spelled Lappa. And then you can find me on social media, either at Rebecca_Lappa or at Rebecca Lappa Music on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, thank you all so much. Have a great day. It was great meeting you both. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.
Thank you.